Welcome to Skijor Chronicles, the podcast where horsepower meets powder and winter adventure races into your ears. I'm your host, Steve Itell. In each episode, we dive into the wild, exhilarating world of skijoring, where skiers are pulled by horses chasing speed, skill, and stories that stretch from snowy back roads to world-class arenas. Whether you're a seasoned racer, a winter sports junkie, or just here for the ride, saddle up, strap in, and get ready for wild race stories, epic wipeouts, tips from pros who somehow make this look easy, and interviews with folks who thought, sure, I'll ski behind that. Hey, this is Steve. I just wanted to give a quick intro to this episode as we had some technical difficulties when recording and ended up losing the first half of the episode. This episode features AJ Pestello, who lives in Summit County, Colorado, and started his skijoring career in 2017 at Leadville. Stay tuned for a second series with AJ as we work through the kinks of technology. So without further ado, here's AJ. But not a lot of people, maybe some people know, that you were basically my skier this year too, you and my brother. So we got to go to pretty much every race together. You ski behind me at every race, I think, that you were at. I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, you finally convinced me to go down the road and I scheduled out my calendar.
I pretty much registered you everything. And because this year was the first year where the registration
filled up,
fucking went crazy. And you basically, if you weren't on top of registration, you were not going to get in. And I remember there was one race where you like texted me like, hey, are you going to go to this race? And I was like, I think it was Ridgeway. And you were like, are you going to go to Ridgeway? I was like, we already signed up and it's closed and you got a spot. And you're like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, no, it was. I was like, oh, holy cow.
Yeah.
Good thing Steve was on.
Yeah, because there was that one. And then, I mean, Saratoga got pretty much took care of all your registration that I can think of. And because it was everything filled up this year that we pretty much went to. So first race would have been Meeker. And that one, unfortunately, got no snowed out. And then our first race together, like the first time I ever pulled you, was Ridgeway in the fucking open.
Was it?
Yeah, it was open.
Yeah, you're right.
It was in the open with T, because you and Joey were going to do switcheroo or the twisted switch on Monty, and then we ended up scratching him because he was lame. And so, our first race was open, and your first time to Ridgeway was an open, because that was all that was available registration-wise. And it was like, holy fuck, we just got our ass kicked.
And it wasn't even like
close.
We got our ass kicked. I didn't even ski the course.
Yeah, I don't think you finished either day.
No.
Yeah. And it's not like the horse you're behind, Tyrone, he's like fast, but he wasn't the fastest horse out there that day for sure. And you didn't even ski. You didn't even give me a finish. Joey didn't finish Saturday, and then he was like my only finish on Sunday. So like we totally got fucking owned.
Yeah. And it was
by the track.
First race of the year.
Yeah.
I don't even think I had put my boots on until that race.
Yeah. And that's like a hard first race to go into.
For sure.
That's why like the Meeker's like a good, like, get back into it, knock the dust off.
Yeah.
And nobody had it.
My first time at Ridgeway ever.
Yeah.
And it was super cool.
And it is. It's a very big production race. If anybody has a chance to get to go see it, it's a phenomenal race to go watch and participate in. But yeah, it was a big eye opener for us of like, is it open really for us this year? Or should we like maybe hang out in sport again? But we kind of went back and forth depending on the race, open sport and whatnot. But yeah, so we went Ridgeway and then.
Yeah, and it was an eye opener too, because they, I was so, sheltered or just hadn't traveled enough to really like see some of the other competitors, right? Just like I only saw who came to Leadville, and then I went to one Saratoga race. So I saw a lot of crossover at Saratoga, not a ton of new faces, but like going to that race, seeing some of the horse caliber and the riders and some of those skiers there, you're like, oh, this is a little bit of a different world than I've been used to. And it's, like I was skiing pretty just naturally, not putting a ton of effort into like really getting after it and staying in great shape and being like my best skiing I can do. And that opened my eyes to being like, oh, you need to be taking this a little more seriously at some of these races and step up and really ski a little different.
Yeah, because like a lot of the guys that ski Leadville aren't even what I would call like the best skiers in the sport anymore. Like a lot of the really high-end skiers, I'd say, are kind of avoiding Leadville for various reasons. But yeah, I mean, you got to see Jim Ryan for the first time down there.
McKnight.
Tyler McKnight.
Smedrud.
Freaking Michael Miller's skier I'm blanking on, but Colin Cook was down there. I mean, dude, yeah, you saw just a high concentration of talent.
And the other thing too is like that course shows that ski skill. Like you could hide a good skier through Leadville and not realize what caliber skier they are on that straighter track. When you get a curved track and you can throw some gnarly gates in there and really, really show people that can get down and grab an edge and be ahead early, it shows who can ski really fast.
Yeah, and I mean the sport, the open, it's challenging, but I mean I go and watch the sport at Ridgeway, and I say every year I say it, the sport at Ridgeway I think is more of a technical gate set than the open is. The open's a little fast, so you can run it a little faster. So you got bigger jumps, but I think the overall like technical skiing aspect, the sport is more challenging to ski, in my opinion. But yeah, we probably would have got our ass kicked in sport too, but you never know.
You never know. Who knows?
Yeah,
for first race.
Right.
Again, there's a lot of really good skiers in that sport class too.
For sure. I mean, the talent pool is just phenomenal. And talking to, a lot of the skiers and riders the last couple months, it seems like the open talent pool has gotten so hard, tough, highly skilled skiers now that the guys who thought they were really good are coming back down to sport this year. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what that mix up ends up bringing this year as far as talent and what the sport class ends up being, because what's going to essentially happen is all going to trickle down, and then the novice class is going to be freaking what the sport class used to be, and then it's going to be like, holy shit, where do we stop?
Yeah. Well, and it's really tough too, because like me, you run into some of the other guys that are kind of, me and Joey, you can throw in
Strickbine
or Kevin or some of those other guys, and it's like they can have a really good day, a really good run, but at the end of the day, like they're not at the top of the open consistently enough to like want to be. Nobody wants to enter and be at the bottom of the
every time.
Yeah. Oh, I can do it. Yeah. I can be there, but I just can't like cut a check. I can't win a race. I'm like, why? So why are you going to keep competing in a class that like you're the bottom of the class every time? But then you drop down a class and you're at the top of the class the whole time. So it's like, yeah, you're winning checks. You're having fun. Yeah. So it's a really tough spot. And some of those guys are just like so good that you're like, well, it's almost like there is 3 classes there kind of, there's like a pro, open, sport. Right. But yeah, it'll be hard to not let open get too small or exclusive, because there's not that many really, really good skiers. But
yeah, and it's like the only way to like kind of, because it's hard. It's like how do you promote growth in the sport without just totally crushing guys' egos every weekend and being just a donation, right? I mean, you're spending our entry fees every weekend are hundreds of dollars, thousands, sometimes.
With travel and
if you include like 4 poles, four horses, that's a lot. You can easily enter $1,000 worth of money, and to be just throwing that away, knowing you're going to get your ass kicked every week, it's not fun either. So the hard part though is we're bringing in such a high caliber talent of skiers now that it's like we're going to have to find that happy medium in the open, or it is going to become like 5 skiers up there because nobody wants to ski against them anymore. And I mean, it's kind of going to be where, do we just go all races in a D system, or do you go sport and open in a D system so that way it helps break up that? Or how do you make it? I'm not trying to say it needs to be fair, but how do you make it so that you get guys that want to stay in open? Because
you just got to keep recruiting
fresh,
young, fast race skiers that can step up to that level and try and recruit those high caliber skiers.
It's not even like that the guys that I know that are stepping down this year are shitty skiers. They're fucking badass skiers. Totally. And they're just getting their ass kicked every weekend. They're like, fuck this. So, but now the sport talent from since they've gone up to open has grown drastically. So it'll be kind of curious to see and excited to see kind of where those guys that are moving down from open to sport, where they actually line up in the sport. Because they might come in there and get their fucking ass kicked. And that will really crush their ego.
Yeah, because we could list off a couple, handful of names.
I'm not trying to drop any
that could could and should maybe at some races move up to open too, and just don't. So there is that level, like you said, high caliber sports skiers that will put some competition on those guys dropping down too.
Yeah, and then the other problem we always talk about is each race is so category specific. Like for us, we were like, hey, let's go open at this race because we know who's going. Let's go sport at this race because you know who's going. So that's where it's like, how do you play that game too, and not feel like you're totally sandbagging the sport anymore? But yeah, I mean, so you got your eyes open up at Ridgeway. I mean, that was a good first race of the year for you in terms of like, holy shit, this sport is not what I've been used to at Leadville. Like Leadville is like its own little kind of race in itself. And then, we traveled and then you get to know everybody. And then you get to know like the horses. You get to know who skis, how good, certain tracks favor certain skiers and certain horses and whatnot. And I think you got a pretty good variety of all that real quickly.
It was good. It was cool. And I was super bummed about Monty. We were looking so forward to
dude,
Twisted Switch.
There's a good chance you guys probably would have.
We could have done really well.
So,
I mean, with just both of us having riding experience and skiing experience and skiing at a pretty good level. And, competing. And some of those other guys are good too, but like I think combined, Joey and I would have been pretty handy on both sides of that.
Right, because you guys have both good skiing. You guys are both really good Skijor skiers, and you're both really handy on a saddle too. So there's no other team that was out there that had that.
Both levels.
You had Tyler Smedger, who's really good skier.
Right.
He's a good rider. He's not the best rider, and then you got Richard Weber, who's a really good rider, fucking terrible skier, but goddamn somehow that fucker somehow manages to stay upright every single time. And you watch him ski and you're like, God, that's who fucking won? What the fuck?
He's getting better.
He is getting better.
Quick.
Yeah.
But he's gonna peak soon. He has to.
So yeah, we went from Ridgeway and then we drove
back
home. Fucking 4 hours back home. And
probably 6 hours.
And then turned around and we went back the next week into Pagosa.
5 hours.
Yeah. So we did a lot of back and forth in this year.
You stayed though, didn't you?
No, I came home too. But yeah, so Pagosa, that was a good race for both of us. We went there and pulled up, and there was a point there where race was iffy too, if they're gonna pull it off for snow.
The week up,
yeah.
Was iffy.
And then we showed up and we're like in a fucking dirt parking lot. It was like
green grass or brown green grass. It was pretty crazy. It was the first time I've been in a Skijor
track where it was like dirt everywhere like that. It was pretty crazy. You skied behind me and the Euristas, right? That was your first time behind their Euristas?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Ever where you like showed up as a match team?
Right? Yeah.
So
we showed up.
And you were behind Lauren and me. And on Saturday,
we were like first, you were second on the day. And it was a gnarly track.
Yeah. That was a fun track too. Again, little curve.
Yeah.
And
it was 2 curves. It was basically almost a 90, not quite, but
yeah, like a big horseshoe, or kind of like a big C with a couple tight corners to turn it.
And the riding part was a little.
But I would have skied behind
sketchy.
you, Lauren, Janelle. How many?
I had.
Didn't I have 4 runs?
Yeah, you had 4 runs. You probably skied behind me twice.
Yeah, you or Dell.
Yeah, Henry, T, and then Euristas. Yeah, so with T though, me and you were like second place on the day. We
were holding it for a long time.
We were first for a while
with a good run too.
It was, it was like we weren't anywhere near anybody else. We were first for a while, and then I think your last run of the day was with Lauren, or she was like one of the last horses of the day, and you came in and beat us by like a 10th, if I remember correctly. It was not very much. It was like fucking just a cunt hair. And then on Sunday, you were sitting pretty, we were sitting pretty to buckle basically and win the whole thing. And on my run, you fucking ate it off the last jump and crushed my hopes. And then you came back the next run and fucking won it with Lauren, and you buckled with her, right?
Yeah.
So you won the whole thing at Pagosa.
Yeah, and that was because me and Joey were mirror runs.
Right.
We had every same horse.
And you guys were like
right there with each other.
And I beat Joey on the overall by 2/10.
Yeah, it was tight.
Like 2/10 of a second on the overall for the weekend on the same horse.
Right. With Lawrence.
Yeah, was serious.
Yeah, it was fucking tight.
I mean, but that's how comparative like of skiers you guys were. So I was like fortunate to have both of you guys skiing behind me this year too. So yeah, you walked away with some good checks. And that was your first. That was the first race that your wife and kids had come to.
They come to Leadville before.
Besides Leadville, but where they hung out for the weekend.
Well, and they actually went to the 24 Saratoga race.
Okay.
We went as a family that one.
Yeah.
But your wife traveled far for this race, and you guys had Airbnb, and it was just it was fucking
just
cold,
bitter
like
cold.
just windy, cold, humid, cold. And I just remember looking at her on Sunday. I'm like, "You ever gonna come to a race again? Because you don't look like you're having fun." She's like, "No."
And two little kids.
And two little kids under like a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. Yeah, it sucked. Tough crowd.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard when it's that cold.
Yeah, nowhere
to go with kids like that.
So then drove back home, and I went to Silverton. You didn't come because you had to work.
Yeah.
And then we met back up in Saratoga the first weekend in February, and it was rough weather up there too.
It was a weird.
It was It was warm, and then when we showed up, freezing ass cold. And then, I mean, we all saw that
didn't have enough snow.
they almost didn't have enough snow. I mean, we were definitely in mud, like skiing through mud. You had that was the start of the end of your Skijor season right there, pretty much. Talk me through that.
Yeah, so same thing. We had 4 runs a day. I was skiing you and Dell, and then Lauren and Janelle. So I had 4 pulls, 4 different horses. Was doing pretty good. Were they running a D system then?
No, we were open.
We
went open because like Raymer kind of asked for us to go open just because they needed to stack up that.
I don't remember. I obviously didn't do anything spectacular or amazing. I don't think I even cut a check, but it would have been, I think it was my 3rd run on Saturday.
It was behind me.
Behind you.
With Monty, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And we were coming around. It was that
start.
That little bank turn.
It
was it was left side, but it was a right side turn bank.
No. You had a gate, then you went straight into a left bank and then right bank.
And you went just straight to your right shoulder.
I went left bank and then going to that right bank and that gate. And it was a little slushy, and I don't know exactly what happened. It was kind of weird, but like I just like got hung up in the slush, or like my feet were too close together, and I basically just turtled straight over on my left side. And between the rope pulling me and my feet kind of getting hung up in the slush or whatever happened, I fell onto my left shoulder and got back up, and my shoulder kind of hurt, and the whole run was over, and I walked back to the start, and my shoulder was sore, and skied the rest of the weekend. Really no problems with it. It was a little sore.
Felt like you just got punched really hard in that shoulder, basically, like a zinger.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it was weird. And then after the weekend or whatever, went back, got checked out with the orthopedic doctor, and apparently through my MRI and stuff, learned that I dislocated my shoulder, and it popped in instantly, I guess. So I didn't ever I wasn't sitting there with my arm hanging down.
Right.
I just went back in, tore my labrum in my shoulder from that dislocation. So I was like, nice. But it was crazy because I didn't hurt that bad till on Sunday all day, getting 4 more pulls and all that pressure holding on to the rope.
And you went to the doctor, and then I'm sure he said something along the lines of like, you probably shouldn't go Skijor anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't super
worried about it.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Was it because he's like, you need surgery regardless, so if you fuck it up again, it's not really you can't damage it any worse? And then with that news, you still showed up and skied the next weekend.
Yeah.
At Craig. And I mean, it was kind of the same team, right?
Yeah.
It was Euristas and me and my wife.
Yep.
Then you had that channel gap at that track where that was where you jacked a knee up, right?
Yep. So and that was I love that idea. Like that jump is a cool idea. Love the idea of jumping the horse track, going from side to side, big transfer. It was a little weird because the jump was kind of straight down the track. It wasn't like angled across. So you kind of had to swoop out and grab a gate. They put a gate on the takeoff of that jump so you couldn't take it low. You had to at least get around that gate. And then the landing was kind of a angle away from the horse track. So you're kind of landing into like a little bit of a wall because it was kind of angling in.
And it was like kind of uphill, like a little cambered.
Yeah. It wasn't my first or second run. It was my third or fourth run maybe. And this is what I remember it too, because I had a couple horses in that section, whatever it was, or just in general that felt a little faster on the course. And then at that spot, or I had slack or something. But I remember a couple times where I was like coming to that takeoff and I was like, I don't know if I have enough speed to make it, and would kind of rear back and then rip on that rope and, pop and jump and get across that gap. And then I had a couple runs where I had, felt like I had more speed and took that jump nice and low in a tuck and kind of just scooted across that gap and it was smooth. And then one of them, when I was feeling a little slower, I just popped it pretty hard and came down and landed and felt my knee. And I think I finished my run on that one. Anyways, I either way felt my knee right away when I landed on that. And it wasn't horrible. Like it wasn't horrible pain, but felt it. And it was like, I don't know about this. I do remember after that, it was my third run. Because then after that.
On Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to say Sunday too, because I feel like if it was Saturday, you probably would have
It was Sunday.
Contemplated.
It was Sunday because on Saturday, I ended up getting a second place check on one of my runs. Yep. And then, it would have been my third run on Sunday. And then I was, I remember going back to the start, and Janelle was my last pull. And she said something like, what do you think? Or how you doing? She said, I looked at her and shrugged my shoulders, and then went on the next run and just like totally splatted when I landed again.
Yeah.
Just like it.
Knee just gave out.
And I was like done. I was talking to her after, and she's like, yeah, I knew something was odd because when I asked you how you were feeling, you just kind of shrugged your shoulders at me and something just didn't anything. Seem right. Yeah, you didn't say anything. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, what else was I going to do? I had to try and at least get a run down for you and for me or whatever. Right. I didn't have to be the fastest, but yeah. So that kind of sucked. And then again, went and saw Doc the next.
Same doctor.
Just happens.
Dude, a week later, you're back in the same office.
Hey, the only good part was at least he was a shoulder and knee guy.
Right, you're one-stop shop.
And that's good because it's the same doc. And he was a cool doc too. He's a younger guy. He's worked on like NFL teams, so he knows about like getting athletes through their sport, helping them finish out their seasons or doing all they can. And I straight up asked him like, my next race is Leadville. And so I'm like, what do you think about skiing on this? And, what's it going to do? Or what's my problems? And I ended up getting a shoulder brace for my shoulder.
Jesus.
I ended up getting
a knee brace for your knee.
I didn't even get a knee brace. I had Strickbine tape me up.
With some KT tape?
Yeah. So I don't even think it was KT, but I think it was just athletic tape. And he taped me up before, but yeah, so we'll go into that real quick too, because that I was excited for that one. I probably should have reared back and went to sport.
For Leadville.
Yeah. You weren't there.
No.
I actually hooked up with Tina Martinez as one of my pulls for Leadville. And then Richard Weber decided on the last minute to go there.
Yeah.
With a new horse. And so I was going to ski behind him because he was looking for somebody. And that would have been it, because I think I had two matches in Leadville and I would have had 2 draws. First run with Tina Martinez at Leadville, and
you made it like halfway.
Second jump.
Stoplight
jump. I got some video of it. I was a little off axis, like I didn't land square on both feet at the same time.
Yeah.
And just lost my other knee.
And I'm guessing, if I had to take a wild guess, you were compensating, not knowing you were compensating.
Most likely.
You're coming down for the jump. Your left leg was lower because you're like, I'm going to fucking try to cushion that one. And you went down, and that took all the brunt and just
took all the brunt.
Gandhi.
Landed my ass straight on the back of my bindings. total out of control. Just like, I mean, that jump is heading straight for
the crowd,
sidewalk crowd. Yeah. So when you land on your ass, you have no turn, you have nothing. So I like pile into the netting on the fence line, cross like all the snow chunks that are on the side of the track, cross the concrete because it was pretty warm there too.
Like, it wasn't like hot snowy as fuck, which is one of the reasons why I didn't go.
The sidewalks were not snowy; they were all just concrete,
wet.
Yeah, go piling into that fencing.
Yeah,
and the video is crazy too because my head like bounces off those snowball chunks that are on the edge of the track. It like looks like I freaking almost break my neck. My head bounces so hard. After like watching, I'm like, oh man, my head should hurt way more than it does. Like I didn't even like realize my head was a problem, and I don't even know if it was. It just looked bad. But I was laying there in the fencing, and of course, people come running over to help me and check whatever else. And I'm like, will somebody just like take my skis off because they were hung up in the fence? Like I was on my stomach. And my tails of my skis were in the
air,
stuck. Like I couldn't move my legs or feet at all. So then people pop me out of my skis, and people come over and like help me gimp across the track and walk off. And I walked off like I wasn't like destroyed. That hurt. That knee hurt way worse than my other knee.
I mean, I was sitting at home because I was getting ready for Grand Lake, which is why the big reason why we didn't go to Leadville. I think it was like 12:30. You texted me and said, I didn't even finish my first round. I fucking blew my other knee out. I'm done. And I was like, fuck. Because you were like supposed to still try and ski in Grand Lake was kind of our tentative plan was to kind of see where you were at after Leadville. I knew you weren't going to ever ski Grand Lake. As soon as he didn't finish Leadville, there's no way he's going to be ready to go in a week.
Well, and I already had 2 injuries.
Right, like shoulder, left shoulder, a right knee, and now you got a left knee. All you had to do is get your right shoulder to equal out.
Get all new parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and I basically just sat on the sidelines with ice on my knee and cut my foot up the whole weekend, hung out there all weekend. But
yeah, and in fact, that's kind of the brutal part of the sport, though, is like once that one injury starts, we don't have a long enough season to be able to sit and heal. And so they usually end up compounding because of compensation or whatever, right? Like
back-to-back weekends.
Yeah, back-to-back weekends that just like we don't have time to like sit and rest. Like you're like every 4 days we're basically back in the truck going at it again. And so I mean if you get hurt beginning of the season, you're done. Yeah, until the next year. And so fortunately for you, though, you made it most of the season, but not quite. I mean, he basically got hurt Saratoga halfway through the season, and he kind of dealt with that for the rest of the season. And I mean, you could have still done 1 or 2 more races, and you couldn't because you're hurt. But now it's fucking hard.
Yeah, and reflecting back, I'm like, oh, I should have, went sport division. The lower jumps would have been less impact on my knees. And then you're like, well, but I'm already signed up with these people, and I want to, ski for them and not screw them all up on their entries because that's hard to do. Like, when you get a team set up and you're signed up or whatever.
And it's not like you had like shitty horses you were getting pulled behind. Because I was talking with Richard. I'm like, hey, I'm not going. So AJ's going to be open if you want to go. And he was on the fence. And I was like, fucking go, dude. And he showed up. And then you didn't get, I mean, I'm sure that horse, you probably would have crushed on that horse too.
Yeah. And when he did really good. And luckily they ended up giving him a couple pulls.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting some checks on daytime. Yeah. It was the fastest horse by far on the weekend. Like he was ripping.
Yeah. And that was his first, first race. We'll see. Well, I'm excited to kind of see where that horse goes this year.
Yeah. No. And then, but it's hard. You don't want to make the decision to like quit on your teammates or whatever.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
Signed up.
Yeah. So then, so you didn't even ski Sunday.
I skied
half a run. Yeah, you got halfway through. They ran open the beginning of the day, so you were like
all day.
You were fucking gimped up by lunchtime. And then you came up to Grand Lake and helped us out a bunch with running the start, the timer on the start, because you basically couldn't walk. So I gave you a stool, and
I came up when we were prepping the track too, and riding in the snowcat with the guy. We were working on the track and just talking about whatever angles, pop, lip on jumps, and that was really cool too to ride in that cat with that operator. He's a really good operator too. That was fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have him again this year, so excited.
Yeah, ran the start there, manual time flag as backup. And that was fun too. Like I got to watch every single run because I was there paying attention to everything, every run. That was fun. Love to be able to be there and help.
Yeah, it sucks to not be at a Skijor race on a weekend.
It's hard when you're sitting at home and everybody else, because I felt it when everybody was in Leadville and I was sitting at home packing and I was like, this sucks. I should be up there.
Yeah.
At least just hanging out.
Yeah, for sure. I get bad FOMO. But yeah, I mean, and I remember you saying like, man, sitting here running the start time, you learn quite a bit of like seeing the different starts and knowing, and you were able to kind of pick up pretty quickly, like if someone was going to do well or not. I felt like.
Yeah. No,
it gave you a different perspective.
For sure. Yeah. And even just like the horses starting too, like how far back they get locked in versus prancing around all the way up to the time start. And it was.
Well, and hopefully you can make it to that race this year and ski it.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to ski this year. I don't know if I don't know if I want to I don't know if
I forgot about that. You're still injured.
Well,
so what did you end up having as a result of those injuries? You ended up having to get some serious work done.
Yeah. So basically, between going and seeing the doctor between those races during the week, and I had surgery scheduled before I even went to Grand Lake for my shoulder. It was. So I ended up having to get my shoulder, it's called a slap repair. It's basically just a labrum tear repair. And then double ACLs on both knees.
Ouch. And they did one at a time, basically, right? So you had to do your shoulder first because you were going to basically be on crutches, right?
Yeah.
Was kind of the plan.
Yeah, down the road.
So you're like, well, they were like, let's do the shoulder first, get that healed up, and then
go in there. And then you did right knee, left knee first?
Yeah. So, and it was, went shoulder, went 6 weeks, went left knee, went 6 weeks, went right knee.
Oh.
So it
was
the
same doc.
Same doc. Yeah. And
you bought him like a new fucking car.
Yeah. Then so this is probably like a month and a half ago. I'm like, whatever, just on both feet, walking around, no crutches, like getting healed up and moving around fine. And he walks in the store and he's trying to act all cheap on me about getting some furniture. And I'm like, hey, I paid for all your furniture already. You can afford this. I know you can afford this.
I paid full price for my fucking surgery, you cocksucker. Yeah. Don't come in here thinking you're going to get a deal.
You're talking to the wrong person to act like you can't afford this. But it was. My surgeries went pretty good, and like my shoulder was actually pretty easy, not very painful. And then that first knee, it was like super painful. And this is my first surgeries in my life. I'd only had my wisdom teeth pulled, like nothing.
Right, no real surgery.
Never had broken a bone, never really had any real big physical problems, medical problems. And
then here you are, filling out your deductible on your first fucking surgery.
3 in 1. The spring, basically.
You basically had one every other month.
Yeah.
And then, so when was your last knee done with the most recent one?
I think it was July. June or July right there. But yeah, it was. So my left knee was, fairly painful. My right knee was fairly painful. Didn't have a problem with crutches, really, after my shoulder on them. But I do remember when I got my right knee done, so when I was my third surgery, I was coming home and trying to go up the stairs the day I came back from surgery. I felt fell back going up the first stair just because my other leg was just still not that great.
Right,
6 weeks out.
Right. You're like, this one still hurts. At 100%.
Yelling for my wife to make sure I don't turtle straight back onto my back going up the stair because I just lost my balance and didn't have any of the strength to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then basically stayed in the house for a few days before I tried to do those stairs again.
Yeah, and I mean, I was up at the Elks Foundation dinner, which was July. And I remember where the fuck's AJ at? They're like, oh, he's all bummed out because his knee. And I'm like, what a fucking bitch. But I'm like, it probably does really hurt. It sucks to get around.
Yeah, it hurt. And it was just when you're fresh out of surgery, you're just on so many little just medication regiments where every couple hours you're taking this or that and this or that, and it's just not that fun. You don't feel that great. And it's I'm not going to work. I can't be going and having fun and playing if I'm not going to work either. You gotta just if you can't go to work, you can't go play either.
At a company
table too.
So, it killed me because I love going to those events. But
So yeah, I mean that's kind of that's a rough way to finish your season. So basically, my season ended with both my skiers in fucking hurt.
Yeah, because Joey screwed up his shoulder at Craig too.
Yep. Yeah, so fucking rough year for us at the end there, but going forward, I think what's your plan? You know, are you thinking you're going to get back in the boots, or are you going to try to just stick to getting on a horse? Or
yeah, no, I'm probably not going to compete this year. Maybe get on horse, but I don't know. I didn't ride a horse all summer. Obviously, I just didn't want to chance it, and I didn't want to chance getting on a fresh horse and having something go sideways, whether it's a spook or a buck, and coming off. And not that getting bucked off is the biggest deal, but when you have injuries, you don't want to push that a I was super careful about that. I haven't ridden a horse all summer, and so I don't have anything legged up, even if I wanted to get on this winter. So I'll probably not compete this year. Definitely not skiing. I mean, I'm a year. They say a year out for full impact on an ACL. That's next summer basically on my knees. I'm like, I'm not even gonna chance that. I might ski a little bit with my kids who are just learning to ski.
Not Skijor,
not grabbing edges and hitting jumps and stuff. That's full impact and beyond. I'm gonna avoid the skis, but definitely winter of 26, 27. Probably, I'm gonna ski again. Obviously go to sport. Not gonna start off going open or anything like that.
Fucking go to novice, man.
Go back to novice. That seems a little sandbaggish to go all the way back to novice.
I mean, if you're coming off an injury, I think it's fair.
Yeah, we'll see. But and then I do want to take it a little bit more seriously about finding a horse so that I can Skijor on.
Yeah,
and I really want to be playing on both sides of the game.
Yeah, it's fun to be doing both. It's definitely adds a whole nother aspect of like logistics to your life, though, that can make the weekend a little bit more stressful.
A little more stressful, but it makes it worth your while going down the road
for sure.
And it kills me too, because I'm like I know I can ride at a high level too, and I want to get myself double opportunities to win on both sides,
right?
And at least play and have fun.
And because of your injuries and you're not being able to ski this year, we're kind of after Grand Lake, we kind of convinced your brother to go full balls in on the sport too.
Yeah.
And our other buddy Al. So we're gonna have a whole posse out there now with us. And and then your brother, I mean, he's a ripping skier, so I have high hopes for him if he can just get tough mentally and throw down some runs. And then going next year, if you get a horse, I mean, you fucking got your brother right there.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys could have a pretty ripping team if you can find a good horse and you can throw down some runs.
Yeah, and I don't even think about worrying about finding a skier.
No,
that's always
no, it's fucking not the easiest thing, dude.
It depends on what level you're looking for too. You know,
well, I mean, I literally talk ski joring all year long. Because my wife and I are planning Grand Lake, and we've been planning it since the end of last season. We've been talking about all year long, and I knew you weren't going to be skiing this year, so I'm like, well, we still need to find another skier, and it never really crossed my mind that I was like, I should lock one down right now. And then come to find out, all the fucking skiers that I know are all taken, every single one of them. And so I'm like, fuck, I actually don't have any skiers. So it's actually harder than you think, because the sport's getting so competitive that guys are really, staying loyal and teaming up with their riders that they know, and they're kind of sticking with them for the season. And I was talking to guys in freaking October, they already had their entire team and season planned out. And I was like, dude, I don't have a second skier yet. But I got your brother for a race or two probably, and then I got Woody this year, so it'll be interesting to see how he can do.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing with that is pre-registration.
Yeah.
If you didn't have to pre-register, you'd find a skier time.
For sure, but it's
just be there. But it's when you have to lock them in and get registered before season. Yeah. People aren't thinking about it as much, or on their mind.
With the registration the way it is now, it's you got to have that stuff locked in. You got to have who's going to be paying, who's going to register. Someone's going to be sitting on the computer pressing refresh, because they are going to fill up with that.
Right.
And I know some races they're already full. for the whole year. Like, it's crazy how fast. Like, our race, we don't think we're gonna make it to the afternoon. Like, we're gonna be full within the hour.
First day.
Yeah. So then it's the reality of the sport now, which kind of sucks. It's good and bad. I mean, it's still like we still got to figure out how we can fit more skiers in a day, or start doing multi weekends. I don't know. It's crazy how fast stuff's filling up now.
It is.
So, I mean, you've had kind of a pretty long, extensive career in ski joring. What's some like advice you would give a new skier and or rider that wants to get into the sport? Some advice.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, find somebody that's done it before. And like, if you get to a race and you're slipping the course, find somebody that's done it a lot and slip a course with them. One thing that I almost done at every single race, because I did so much at Leadville, was I'd walk the course with Jerry Kissel. And he's a legend on that.
Yeah.
And
he's really good.
And I've always said this out loud too.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll walk the course with Jerry and listen to everything he says, and I'll ignore whatever I feel like ignoring about what he says. But I'm at least going to listen to everything he says or looks at or thinks about.
Right.
Because sometimes he's so analytical about it. And sometimes it's too much analysis for me, where I'm like, I have to not think about all that stuff and, react and just let my instincts kind of take over. So I'm like, but like, I will always at least walk next to him and just listen to him or ask him a question, or just like, that's a good one, because you just want to hear those, or like see what somebody else is thinking about something, or see how they're looking at something that you might not have looked at or saw. So that's always helped me, I think, and at least just like to get that intel and see what they're thinking. And I like always when I ski raced, like I didn't slip a course very, like
you were the guy that just showed up with
like
in and went.
I mean, if I did, it was because my coaches were telling me I had to, like,
right, or we need you to slip it to get the snow off the course.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to like let it come at me and just like do it. And so like I wasn't ever very good at like doing that. Like I just wanted to kind of react to it and just let it come at me, and that works for a little bit until things get too technical, or you got to like really pay attention to some of those hidden gates on some courses. But
I feel like if you did that now with the way this sport is and how fast and how tight all the times are, you'd be out of the running. I think you almost have to go and like sit down and read the course and visualize the course and like really analyze it. Because if you're behind, the horses are so fast. If you're behind, you're behind. And you're stuck behind.
Well, this is a perfect example too. Like in Pagosa on Sunday, when you have like 4 runs, you're kind of scattered. If there's about 40 runs a day or in that class or whatever, right? So you're like in the top 10. You're like in every,
so you have like every 10,
like every 10.
Yeah, every 10 you're gone.
But I remember on Sunday they set kind of right before the first corner, there was a really, really long gate. Like you had to get way wide. That's the other advice I would say too, is like if you have a chance to watch runs before you, sit there and watch where people are struggling or having an issue, and talk to your rider and be like, let's clean that and then let's go, because that's the problem people are having. And if they don't adjust, then you're better off, because you're like, we're going to win that. And then that's what happened on that course on Sunday.
There's a bunch of people missing.
I'm like, they're missing that. They're missing that. They're missing that. Everyone's missing that gate, or they're washing out because they're late or whatever. Like, they're just not getting that gate. So I was like, just get me past that gate and we're golden. And we did, and then I'm like thinking to myself as a skier too, like, okay, she's going to help you, but you better get your ass around that corner too. Set yourself up to get that gate, grab some rope, get yourself some slack, rip over there, slide, get around it. And then you're good. But it's like, just pay attention to those little spots where people are struggling and try and master that one little thing that everyone else is struggling. And you'll find those little teeny nuances. Or this is the other one that's always kind of crazy to me, is on a start. I probably shouldn't even say this out loud because I feel like it's a secret, but it seems so obvious. I'm like, these guys are starting halfway up their rope.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll start halfway by rope, but I'm not going to cross the board until I slide to the end of my rope.
Right.
And reach forward and try and be as far back before I start that gate.
Yeah. It's kind of a secret, but it's the same time. Like, I know so many people, like I've told people that too. Like, let that thing run, let the horse get up to speed, and you have an extra 30. That's a whole second.
You can
second and a half.
There's basically a lot of speed in there with that horse accelerating.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're touching that gate while that horse is still accelerating versus when that horse is like really going, I mean, a couple steps on a horse is a lot of speed.
And so the same thing on the vice versa on the finish.
And I know some guys are doing it because they want to have some slack for when that course starts hitting them right at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if I have to go to the end and climb as fast as I can, I'm going to try to do that every time and then on the other end of the course, freaking try and climb up with that horse's tail and get across that finish. You know, that's you're making up time. If you start on the end at the beginning and finish on the up against that horse, that's time.
That's an easy 3 seconds all day, I bet.
It can be. So I've found that's helped me, and I've seen that, and I watch that all the time. I'm like, they're halfway up their rope when they cross that start board.
How long did it take you before you figured that out?
Not long.
So you were paying attention.
I would pay attention to that right away. And you know, Leadville's weird too because when I first started, they have the loop on the rope, and you put your hand around it, and some of the veterans there showed me the little hack to put over your thumb and wrap it around the back of your hand as like your anchor spot. Where a lot of these other races were running ropes with just knots on them. So it's a little different. So a lot of guys at Leadville would start at the end of the rope just because they had their hand set there. And you didn't want too much slack between your hands. But that's where I noticed it, or those guys would sit there and wrap that hand around their butt and let that jerk rip their whole body, put all the weight onto your butt instead of your arms.
So when you skied Leadville this year, because you had already skied like 5 races or so by the time you got to Leadville, and all of them were open ropes, no loops. Did you run a loop or did you run a knot?
I ran a knot.
So you got so used to it.
Well, and because I had gotten my own rope this year. Before
but
I just ran.
But you basically were like, there's really no advantage to the loop if you ski the rope correctly.
And I don't mind that little loop on the end of it either.
Except for your neck sometimes.
We didn't even talk about that. I just forgot about that. Anyways, it was, I think it's just climbing the rope, because when you had the loop, when you climbed the rope, you did have like this bobble loop dragging instead of just a tail end of a rope dragging behind you. And that's, I think, what got me away from it a little bit.
A little safer.
Yeah, a little safer. And we can go there too. That was,
I don't
remember what year that was. It was 23.
My wife was pregnant, so it would have been 2023.
23.
Yeah. So we were at Leadville, both of us. I was riding, you were skiing, and you weren't skiing behind me, you were behind Al. But I was the run before you, and Al and you were coming next, and so I was coming back up the track on the
I was skiing behind Jed more.
You were behind Jed. Okay. But whatever your run was, I was the one before you or 2 before you, whatever, because I was coming up, and I was at the jump where you basically, what I saw was you had a big old loop in your rope, and you went over the jump and you slacked it out, and then it ended up over your neck, and that rope was tightening up around your neck, and you slipped your hand like up underneath your chin and threw the loop off, and that pretty much saved you from fucking getting decapitated. Right? Is that or maybe you saw something or felt something different?
Yeah, no,
that was what I saw. I was like, oh my god, he's about to die.
So it was sport class.
Yeah,
I think it was zombie.
I think that year was the 3D year.
It might have been.
I think it was
when it just had one track, one course.
Yeah,
and it was one of the last. It was towards the end of the day.
Yeah,
I don't remember. There wasn't a ton of people left there. Right. Like it was the end of the day, and I was had the thumb loop on my left hand and was climbing rope the whole track down. So I had
a big old bite,
10 foot of rope that was between my left hand and my right hand. Like a big old loop, and it was a last jump before the finish. So you jump on the left.
And then
slide over to the right, maybe even grab some rings and then finish on the right. And I remember that in the video shows it perfect. The whole slack loop goes over my head.
Yeah.
When we're
like
on
catching
that, in that
catching
jump,
a steer
in the air, in that jump, it goes over my head. Basically, I land and it lands over me.
Yeah.
Get to the finish. I know the rope's over me because I felt it go over me. And I remember finishing, I threw my hand loose and I just started pushing my hands up, like with just trying to grab rope and push up, because I knew it was around me somehow. Right. I didn't want to get hung up my ski or whatever. And it was loose, I think so. And it just did like one full wrap. And then, horse didn't stop. I didn't stop that fast either because I was trying to just fish it off. Like I was just trying to roll. Right. And then finally the horse was going faster than I was. And it just ripped me to the ground, just jerked me down by my neck.
Yeah.
Rope just slides. Luckily wasn't tied or hooked on something. Does a full zip around my whole neck. Pops loose, but it just slammed me in the ground.
It still gives me the Eber-Jeebers. Because I'm like, if that thing had just like gone and gone around itself one time to where it basically was like a timber hitch on you, I don't know. Who knows what would have happened, man? He could have fucking killed you.
Could have.
Because that thing would have just severed your spine, essentially, because that fucking horse is not a slow horse.
Or
it's not like it's...
how far I get drugged down the road.
I'm like, fucking, and what are we going to do? Fucking pile on top of you? And yeah, there's a lot of bad scenarios that have gone through my head on that situation.
It's not like running a, knife on my hip.
No,
either, like
yeah.
When you're roping or something.
Yeah, I mean, how often, too, do like the riders not really pay attention?
He's just trying to shut his horse down. He's like, look, he didn't even know about it.
No. And I know that horse doesn't shut down quick, so it's
right.
not like he was like, on the brakes right there. Yeah, it's just fuck it. That one still terrifies me because I remember your neck, dude, was like from the back to like your front was like just purple,
just ripped.
And it was
up.
like a good inch. It was gnarly. Yeah, it was. You've had some shit happen to you.
Some weird ones though. Yeah. That's about it though. Really,
you've gone down on a horse. You've had a fucking rope. You've a shoulder dislocated that popped back in. You've had 2 ACLs blown out. I mean,
yeah.
You've had quite a bit happen. And those were all like in the last 4 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets rowdy.
I mean, when you're working for it, you're working for it. And that's what comes down to. That's why you're competitive. I mean, you try hard.
Yeah.
You don't give up. There's some guys you see them and they miss their first gate and they give up. I'm like, man, you still got something there if you just keep going at it and don't let it get into your head. But anyways, I mean, yeah, so I guess we'll just see you kind of in the background this year. I mean, we'll still see you at most of the races, I think. But
yeah, I'm going to try and get to some of those local races, if I can get to Meeker and Grand Lake, and we'll see who goes to Leadville, go up there and either help out if the producers want some help with me as a volunteer or wherever, or if I can, help people to start or do whatever. I just want to be around it. I'm going to have some family and a bunch of friends, obviously, competing and help them with their horses and young kids skiing and doing whatever I can to just be around it and be there and hang in.
You help guys read the course, put on a clinic. But yeah, I'm excited for your brother because I remember the first time, I hadn't even met him yet, but the first time I saw him was in Grand Lake, and I knew who he was because of what horses he was behind. I knew who was pulling what. And I remember him going by me. I'm like, holy fuck, that guy's ripping. And then I like put 2 together. I'm like, oh, that's Vinny. And then talking to him over the course of the summer, I was like, dude, you should really think about trying this more than just being a fucking rodeo clown. And so if I convinced him, and I'm going to pull him at least one race and maybe another one, and maybe I'll teach him some things, and we'll teach him some things, and then you can have him next year to pull, and you guys can go be the Pestellos.
Right.
Well, pesto. Anyways, appreciate you giving me the time, and appreciate you. Also, shout out to your family company, iFurnish. For all you guys that don't know, AJ sells furniture for a living. He's sitting in a really expensive chair right now.
It's true.
Probably the most expensive chair we'll ever have on the podcast again. But your family's also a huge supporter of the sport. I know you guys sponsor Leadville, our race, and Craig's. So, that's fucking huge. So we all appreciate that too. And I'm sure you guys will continue to do that because your dad's super, super supportive guy. So yeah, thanks for giving us the space to do this podcast, and maybe iFurnish will be my first sponsor for the podcast.
There you go. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.